Nobody expected the Pittsburgh Steelers to rise this fast, not in a division that was supposed to belong to the Ravens or Bengals. But look at the standings now. The Steelers sit at the top of the AFC North with a 4-1 record, while the rest of the division scrambles for answers. Every game has been a grind, yet Pittsburgh keeps finding ways to win. It feels different this time, and the rest of the AFC is finally starting to notice. The question isn't just how they're winning, it's how they're doing it so convincingly when everyone else looks lost. What's happening inside this division almost feels unreal. Cincinnati is falling apart without Joe Burrow, who won't return until mid-December. The Bengals are leaning on Joe Flacco, and the results speak for themselves. Baltimore, loaded with talent on paper, can't stop giving up explosive plays under a struggling defensive play caller. Cleveland's defense is elite, but their offense has been one of the weakest in football, led by a rookie quarterback and a battered line. Every team has a flaw big enough to break their season wide open. Yet somehow, the Steelers look steadier with each passing week, turning every mistake from their rivals into an opening. And this is where it gets dangerous for the rest of the AFC. The Chiefs don't look like the same powerhouse. The Bills keep tripping over defensive issues. The Chargers can't stay healthy. Suddenly, the path to a deep playoff run feels wide open. And standing right in the middle of it is a Pittsburgh team built around something it hasn't had in years: true leadership at quarterback. Because when you add Aaron Rodgers to a roster already built to fight, everything changes. And that's where the real story begins. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Steelers and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 200 likes on this video. Aaron Rodgers didn't just arrive in Pittsburgh, he transformed it overnight. From the first snap of the season, you could see the difference. The poise, the control, the accuracy under pressure, it all screamed experience. In Week 1 against the New York Jets, Rodgers threw 4 touchdowns while being sacked 4 times, yet he looked unshaken. He moved defenders with his eyes, opened tight windows, and turned broken plays into highlights. That calmness spread through the locker room, replacing years of uncertainty with belief. The Steelers finally have a quarterback who doesn't flinch when the game speeds up, and it's reshaping their entire identity. For years, Pittsburgh's offense felt stuck in a loop: hope for a spark, brace for a turnover, then lean on the defense to survive. Kenny Pickett showed flashes, but inconsistency buried drives. Mitch Trubisky, Russell Wilson, and Justin Fields each had moments but couldn't sustain momentum. Rodgers changes that equation completely. His timing with DK Metcalf is already crisp. His pre-snap reads sharpen every play, and even simple throws look like lessons in efficiency. When you have someone who can deliver the ball before pressure hits, it gives every lineman and receiver new confidence. Suddenly, the entire offense plays faster and freer. The shift isn't just about stats, it's about command. Teammates listen when Rodgers speaks because they've seen him win at the highest level. He's not trying to prove he belongs. He's proving how high this team can climb. What makes this story so gripping is that Rodgers isn't here to rebuild. He's here to compete now. And as the chemistry grows, the next part of Pittsburgh's plan starts to reveal itself. A new system designed to protect Rodgers and punish defenses at the same time. That's where Arthur Smith's 3 tight end revolution comes in. Nobody expected the Pittsburgh Steelers to flip the playbook like this. Yet the 3 tight end look has become the heartbeat of the offense. It is simple to the eye but brutal on a defense. With Jonnu Smith, Darnell Washington, and Pat Freiermuth on the field together, Pittsburgh controls the edges, the middle, and the tempo. Every snap forces defenses to guess. Is it power to the tackles, a boot to the flat, or a shot over the seams? That constant stress is how you take control of a game and never give it back. Here is the twist that changes everything. Extra size on the line gives protection a calmer pocket, and it also creates real lanes for downhill runs. Once the run starts to bite, play action turns into free yards. We saw it when the front that had been called the best in football could not wreck the day, and the offense strung together long, patient drives. Rodgers does not need hero ball when linebackers freeze and safeties step forward. The system creates clean answers, and the quarterback cashes them in. The shocking part is how many matchups this package creates for pass catchers. Washington can leak out after selling a block. Freiermuth can bend a route into the soft spot. Jonnu can win in space. All of that attention also pulls eyes away from DK Metcalf, who becomes a problem the moment a safety hesitates. But what nobody is talking about is the final piece. If Pittsburgh adds one more steady receiver to punish single coverage, this blueprint could become the league's most reliable path to points. That is where the next chapter begins, the search for the perfect partner beside DK. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a true matchup star on the perimeter in DK Metcalf. But the story gets bigger when defenses start rolling help his way. Corners press, safeties shade, and drives can slow if there is no steady answer on the other side. That is the window for a smart move. Not a splash for headlines, a clean fit who wins one-on-one and respects the timing of the offense. The goal is simple: keep defenses honest so Metcalf stays dangerous on every snap. Here is where names matter. Calvin Ridley brings route craft and third down timing. Rashid Shaheed can flip a drive with one deep shot. Alan Lazard already knows how to read Aaron Rodgers and find space when plays extend. Any one of them would tilt coverage and open cleaner lanes for Pat Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, and Darnell Washington. Add Calvin Austin III in the slot and the puzzle starts to make sense. You are not chasing a superstar, you are buying reliability that turns doubles on Metcalf into first downs for everyone else. The exciting part is how this changes the rhythm of a game. With two trusted outside targets, Rodgers can play on time, the tight ends can punish soft zones, and the run game sees lighter boxes. That is how a good offense becomes a controlling offense. And that brings us to the quiet engine behind all of this. The group that made everything look calmer last week, the offensive line that just announced it is ready for real fights. Nobody expected the Pittsburgh Steelers front to flip the script this fast, but they just did it on the biggest stage. Against a defense that came in with the label of the best front in football, Myles Garrett finished with 0 sacks and 2 assisted tackles. The pocket looked calm, the run game had real push, and the offense controlled the clock when it mattered. That is not hype. That is a line finding its voice and telling the game how it will be played. Watch how the pieces fit. Broderick Jones set the edge with steady feet. Zach Frazier and Mason McCormick worked in sync to seal lanes. Isaac Sumalo cleaned up twists. Troy Fautanu kept the backside safe so Aaron Rodgers could hit timing throws and play action shots. When the line wins the first strike, everything opens. Runs turn into 8 to 10 yard gains. Third downs feel shorter. Rodgers gets to his spot, resets, and delivers without a rush in his face. Confidence spreads through the huddle when the guys up front take control. Here is why this changes the season. A trusted line lets Arthur Smith keep the playbook balanced. Defenses must honor the run, safeties step down, and DK Metcalf sees cleaner looks outside. It also fuels the identity Pittsburgh loves: tough, patient, and punishing over 4 quarters. If this standard holds, the offense will not need fireworks to win. It will squeeze the game until mistakes appear. And that sets the stage for the unit built to finish drives and flip fields. A defense that is starting to look like the most suffocating group in the league. This Pittsburgh Steelers defense does not wait for chances, it creates them. Every snap feels like a test of survival for opposing quarterbacks. The front seven moves like a storm, and before a play can even breathe, the pocket collapses. TJ Watt still sets the tone with his timing and violence at the line. Alex Highsmith mirrors him with quickness and perfect angles. Nick Herbig brings fresh legs and chaos off the edge, and Patrick Queen cleans everything behind them with the calm of a veteran who sees the play before it happens. When that kind of discipline meets aggression, offenses start looking over their shoulders. The numbers tell the truth. Against Cleveland, the Steelers' defense recorded 6 sacks and forced 20 pressures in under 3 seconds on average. Cam Hayward and Derek Harmon collapsed the middle while Joey Porter Jr. and Jalen Ramsey smothered routes on the outside. Darius Slay added the experience that keeps the coverage tight when chaos hits. It is a blend of youth, leadership, and speed that few teams can match. Every unit feeds the other. When the rush wins, the coverage shines. When the coverage locks in, the rush closes the show. That balance is what separates this group from being just good to being game-breaking. But the most dangerous part of all is what comes next. This defense is still finding its peak. Peyton Wilson are adjusting to NFL tempo, and each week they play faster. If this unit stays healthy, it can carry any offense through cold weather games and late playoff drives. And that opens the conversation everyone's been avoiding. With the AFC showing cracks, could this be the perfect window for Pittsburgh to chase the top seed and force the road to the Super Bowl through their own backyard? The AFC is wide open and the Pittsburgh Steelers are seizing the moment. With Kansas City slowing down, Buffalo inconsistent, and the Bengals without Joe Burrow, the path to the top is clearer than ever. Pittsburgh has learned to win through discipline, not perfection, thriving in close games and pressure moments. Mike Tomlin's leadership and Aaron Rodgers' composure have created balance, while TJ Watt anchors a defense that punishes every mistake. Their upcoming clash with Cincinnati could define the season, giving the Steelers a chance to take control of the division and prove that their rise isn't just about timing. It's about building a lasting legacy. So here is the challenge and the choice. Do you believe this team can turn momentum into a top seed and force playoff games in Pittsburgh? Which single move would push them over the top right now? A reliable outside receiver, more speed in the return game, or a depth piece in the trenches? Drop your take in the comments, tell me your confidence level from 1 to 10, and call your bold prediction for Thursday night in Cincinnati. If you are riding with this run, tap subscribe and turn on alerts so you do not miss the next breakdown. Now let us dive into the full season roadmap and what must happen to keep this push alive.